those. What's up, boys and girls, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a big day for me because I'm gonna do the dreaded FTP test. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous actually because I haven't been done this for quite some time, and there's no turning back. I gotta do this. Anyway, so before we start the suffering and go to my pain cave, I just want to kind of discuss a little bit about what is FTP. FTP stands for Functional Threshold Power, wherein it's a common measurement for fitness in cycling. And FTP is essentially the highest sustainable power that you can perform in 60 minutes, right, in the form of watts. It is the foundation of all the power-based workouts for cycling and triathlon. Physiologically, it's it's an equivalent for lactate threshold, wherein it's the point where the production of lactate starts to increase and then the levels off. So what will happen to your body, specifically to your muscles, is that your muscle starts to fatigue. Since we're talking about watts, so performing FTP will require you to have a power meter. So there's two major types of FTP test. First is the standard test, wherein you perform a 60-minute all-out effort, right? And then based on the average power that you sustain for that 60 minutes, so that will be your FTP. Problem with that test is that it's too long and it's very difficult because you need to pace yourself on a longer period, that's 60 minutes, right? And most of us, mere average or for those who just started cycling and performing this test will have a difficulty sustaining it. That's why, so there's a shorter version of that, which is instead of doing a 60-minute all-out effort, it will be around 20 minutes only. However, you still need to pace, but at least it in a shorter window, right? And that's what I did for my first FTP. So the other test is what we call the ramp test, where it's actually a ladder type of test, wherein you start on the lower wattage, which is around 100, and then every 60 seconds it increases to 20 watts. How you do this is that you just pedal, right, while your wattage increase, so until such time that you can't pedal anymore. So that will be the end of the test. Now, how the FTP is computed there is that it gets your maximum 1 minute interval, and then from there it gets the 75% of your power. So that will be your FTP. So for example, your max 1 minute is on the 300 watts. So we get the 75% of that, so that will be around 225 watts, right? So that will be your FTP. So my last FTP test was around 3 years ago, during my Ironman training, and I used the 20-minute test protocol, right, and perform it outdoor. Based on that test, I was around 208 watts. So that's for my last FTP test, and that's outdoor, right? So there's a difference between performing indoor and outdoor, and I can tell that because I also tried the 20-minute test indoors last time, but I didn't make it. I failed. That's why I'm quite nervous to do this again in indoor, right? Because I know the feeling. However, for this test, I'm going to do the wrap-up test. And so why I choose this test? Because it takes the pacing out of the equation, so I don't need to pace anymore, right? And also the suffering is a bit shorter because you can only feel the suffering during your last few minutes. So why I'm doing this test? As I mentioned in my previous video, that this week will be a testing week for me because I have an upcoming race for 2022, which is the Ironman Taiwan, and my training will start in the first week of November. Before I start the test, I need to kind of update my FTP to make sure that I will have a good measurement and update my training zones so that I will be able to execute my training sessions effectively. So that's the reason why I'm doing this test. So I guess that's it. Without further ado, let's go to my pain cave. Alright, so I'm here in my temporary pain cave where, as you can see, it's my kids' room. It's their playroom actually. So today I'll be doing my test inside because my kid is outside, roaming around the house, and I'm afraid that she's going to go near the bike and hurt herself. So yes, that's why I set up my test here. So, okay, let's go and set up the Zwift. My trainer and my heart rate is set up. So right, let's hop on the bike. Okay, so start free ride for 5 minutes. Alright folks, before the start of the actual test, there's a 5-minute free ride that I need to do as a warm-up, but personally I think this is a bit short and I would prefer to have it longer. That's why before the test, I already did a 10-minute warm-up to get my blood flowing. Alright, 30 seconds more and we'll start! Yeah! Let's do this! So, now my test has started. Let's fast forward the boring part. And while my virtual self is writing like an idiot on the screen, I just want to share my thoughts, strategies, and what I felt during the test. As you can see on the screen, you will be able to find my heart rate, cadence, and power in the upper box, as well as the stages on this test, which you will find in the left side box, where it starts on 100 watts and each stage increments to 20 watts every 1 minute. For the whole duration of the test, I will be on a seated position, and I'm making sure that my pedaling stroke is smooth and steady, and my target cadence should be between 85 to 90 RPM. Also, I have set a low RPM goal at around 65, which will be my indicator that I should not push further and stop. As we hit the 280 mark, you can see that I'm starting to feel uncomfortable, and I'm trying to put some effort on pedaling in order for me to generate the watts that I need. And my cadence is still within the target of 85 to 90, so that's good. But if you look at my heart rate, it's starting to peak at 168. Yeah, 168. And as far as I can remember, my max heart rate recorded was around 172. So that means that I'm almost at peak. So any minute now, I will get toasted. Yeah, so we'll see. Now we are at the 300 mark, and this is where the real deal starts. As you can see, after 15 seconds, my cadence starts to drop below 85 RPM, and every pedal stroke is so much painful, and also catching my breath while pedaling. I think during that time I can feel my legs, and all I feel is discomfort and pain, starting from my hips down to my feet, and overall I'm already at the hurt locker. So this is also the point where you start questioning yourself. Why are you doing this, and why are you making yourself suffer? Now I'm really hurting, and I couldn't make effort anymore. My cadence dropped below 80 RPM, and my heart rate went as high as 178 beats per minute. I think this is the highest heart rate. So that's it. I'm toasted. I can't pedal anymore. I almost throw up during this stage. Alright, so let's see if my FTP improves. It seems I did improve. So from 208 watts, which I perform outdoor, to 226 watts indoor. That's one hell of an improvement. Yeah, I'm happy about it. Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm 43 years old, and my height is around 175 cm and currently weighs 66 kg. So if we use that statistics, my power to weight ratio will be around 3.4. But compared to my previous FTP, which is 208, where I was around 71 kg, so that will end up like 2.9 watts per kg. So it's a big improvement for me after 3 years. But anyway, so at least I have done this, and so that's it. We're in the end of the video, and I hope you enjoy watching me suffer while I'm doing my FTP, and I hope I'll see you again on my next videos. But before you leave, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next videos. So once again, this is Erwin Espinosa. I'm just your average try guy, signing off. I'm out of here.